cheap, nice, underrated, nice, cheap and underrated, nice. Hey friends, Ash here. Welcome back to Extra Gents Scents. Hope that you're doing well. Today we're talking about that. Fragrances that are cheap and I feel a little underrated. Whether that's because they get hated on more than I think is warranted, or just because they're maybe not quite as popular as they would be if they were from a different brand. Just 5 cents today, nothing crazy. All of them are linked in the description below. Feel free to check them out down there. And as always, here are some codes you can use to save money at a bunch of different websites should you shop at said websites. If you don't shop at those websites, then there may be codes for those too. I don't know, you might have to Google it. Let's get things kicked off with this fragrance here from Pepe Jeans. Pepe Jeans for him. Looks like a little shaker bottle here. So that's either tacky or cool depending on who you ask. A little Paco Rabanne-esque, but not quite as in your face as Paco Rabanne would typically do their presentations. Pepe Jeans is an interesting house for cheapies because they've come out with a number of fragrances that have been available for a very low price, typically under $30, sometimes right around 25 or so. And some of those flankers have been very, very good, and also kind of hard to find in the US with any kind of regularity. Really, the only ones that you can find consistently seem to be this one and then Celebrate. They did have a flanker of this fragrance called Black Is Now, and that one is really, really good. So if you can find that one for a low price, absolutely scoop it up, but that one has never been easy to find. I actually had to buy my bottle off of eBay quite a while back. So back to this one right here. Pepe Jeans is a very easy to wear fragrance. It's sweet. It has a little bit of a similarity to Versace Eros. Not super close to it, but kind of in that style. One of those deals where if you like Eros, you probably like this one, that kind of thing. So off the top, this has pineapple and citrus, then it has lavender in the mid, and that is gonna probably be the thing that reminds you most to Eros, is the way the lavender comes across in this one. There's also coffee in the base, but you don't really pick up too much of that. A little bit, like a little tinge kind of lurking in the background, little Michael Myers coffee there. You also get vanilla in here as well. It's a really nice anytime fragrance, versatile, like I said, good for an evening out potentially, a nice club fragrance, and it has good casual use as well. It does come across a little synthetic sweet, but honestly, looking at the bottle and the price point is to be expected, and it's not one that comes across like a chemical bomb, a chemical mess, so I actually think it doesn't really detract from the fragrance at all. So Pepe Jeans, actually really, really nice, and I think this one would work exceptionally well for younger guys up through middle age. I mean, it's a Pepe Jeans fragrance at the end of the day, you know what I mean? It's Pepe Jeans, it's not Christian Dior. You gotta grade it on a little bit of a curve, right? It's coming in a martini shaker, it's like 25 bucks. Again, it's Pepe friggin' Jeans. Grade it on a little curve, and then you'll be like, oh, it's actually pretty nice. Go into it being like, oh man, I don't know, like Dior Homme Parfum just is much higher quality than Pepe Jeans, so I can't really get behind it. Nobody's actually making that comparison. I'm just saying sometimes with cheap fragrances, people will grade like a $20 fragrance on the exact same curve as a $150 fragrance, and it's like, it's not the same, dude. It's like you go to a Michelin star restaurant or McDonald's. It's not the same. You can't grade them on the same curve, okay?
We are exactly the same.
We are not the same.
Next two fragrances are gonna be kind of a double up, but they're each their own separate slot in the list. They're from the same house though. First one is Yope. Wow. I don't like Yope Homme, okay? I don't think a lot of you out there like it either. Kind of a cough syrupy vibe to it, and that one's really cheap too. And I give it total props and credit for being, at this point, kind of a classic, really. But I can't recommend it to you. Yope Wow though, I can. I feel sometimes that Yope fragrances, at least in the US, get overlooked because people have PTSD from Yope Homme. And so they see anything else from Yope, they see that little exclamation point and they go, ooh, no, I've been tricked once before. No sir, I will not smell you.
No.
Yeah, I've heard of your kind before. I smelled the pink one, it did my nose in. I've learned my lesson. Give it a chance, okay? Give it a chance. This one you can find for under 30 bucks, depending on where you look. I think as of this video, Joma Shop has it for about $25. That is crazy cheap. It smells similar to CH Men, by Carolina Herrera. And that fragrance is a really, really solid, at this point, kind of under the radar compliment puller. Good date night fragrance, really sexy and classy. Just the right amount of sweetness. I say at this point because it used to be a bit of a hype beast, but that time is past. This is kind of in that style. So you have a really nice cardamom note in here, especially considering, again, the price point. Some woods as it dries down. Vanilla gives you a good sweetness. And you have a touch of violet leaf in there, and the way it comes across is slightly leathery, but a sweet sort of leather scent profile with that. Just really, really excellent stuff for a sub $30 price point. Again, about 25 bucks, and the presentation looks pretty good here too. So Yope Wow, this is absolutely worth knowing about, and so is this one, also Yope Wow. But this one is fresh, Yope Wow fresh. I have the little dinky baby bottle, 1.35 ounces, I believe is what this one is. 1.3, yeah, 40 milliliters. It was right there, and I'm just like staring at it like, where is it? 1.3. So this guy has a similarity to Aqua Fahrenheit. Aqua Fahrenheit, of course, discontinued and quite expensive nowadays. And this fragrance you can find for like 18 as of this video. It's this size bottle, so it's the little bottle, but still it's under 20 bucks. That's the cost of what? Like 2 bottles of Axe at this point? So this has violet leaf once again, just like this one over here. Obviously this is a fresher fragrance than this one. You also have vanilla in here. You've got a little citrus as well. Like I said, smells similar to Aqua Fahrenheit, and that's a scent that I actually like a lot. Unfortunately, as I said, discontinued, quite expensive nowadays. Basically replaced by Fahrenheit cologne, and I think Aqua Fahrenheit was better, but what do I know? So again, both of these Yopes, these Yope Wow fragrances are worth knowing about, and they're not that pricey at all. After that, Run Wild from Davidoff. Now, this fragrance has caught some bullets, okay? This one has gotten hated on a pretty good amount. Obviously, this fragrance didn't succeed in a big way. You don't have everybody out there wearing Run Wild, but I do think it's actually better than it gets credit for. So for a time, you couldn't find this at discounters, and it looked like it was gonna be one of those deals where the fragrance gets discontinued and the price goes up on the secondary market, but it has come back into stock at a low price at discounters, so you can still find this for the price that I feel like it's probably best to be picked up for. So as of this video, that is for about 24 bucks from Joma Shop. It's for a 50 ml size bottle instead of the larger size that I have here, but still, it's not even 30 bucks. So you have ginger in here, you have lavender, some woody notes, touch of cinnamon. It smells similar to fragrances like Invictus or Invictus Aqua or Azzaro Wanted. It's in that style. It is greener than those, obviously with those woody notes that this has, fir resin being one of them. It has a little bit more of a lean toward that. So you could think of it as having that bubblegum sweetness that those fragrances have, but with a little green lean to it. The performance here is actually pretty good. It's not a weak fragrance, lasts a long time, projects well. It'll get you noticed just like those other fragrances will, Invictus Wanted, Invictus Aqua, stuff in that style. And it has the same versatility that those would have. So there's actually a lot to like if you enjoy fragrances of that style. And I actually think this one, for my own personal taste, is more enjoyable than Invictus, because I like that little tinge that it has, the green flair that it has. Yes, it's bubblegummy. Yes, it's got some syrupy sweetness to it, but it's not awful, especially when you consider the price point. I mean, this is a hyper cheap fragrance that especially younger guys could use extensively. That's going to have them smelling great at that lower price point. I'm not a big fan of Invictus or Invictus style fragrances, so I'm not massively in love with this, but like I said, I do think it gets more hate than it's warranted, and it has a lot more usability for people than some would let on. And last but not least, Ferragamo Free Time, or technically F by Ferragamo Free Time. So from this line of fragrances, F Black is the one that pretty much everybody knows, but Free Time is solid also. So with this one, you have another sub $30 fragrance, really, really cheap. The opening, I think, actually smells really, really nice. It's got a great lemon there when you first spray this on. Lemon and ginger, technically. And that combo, again, citrus and ginger, very easy to pull off, but very, very pleasant, just about always. The ginger gives it more zing. a little more sweetness as well. It takes some of the edge off of the lemon so it doesn't come across sharp or bitter. Sometimes lemon, depending on how it's used, can be one of the more abrasive citrus notes. Technically, it's one of the cheaper citrus notes to use, but it's done well. As it dries, you get a little cardamom, some pink pepper that comes out, and then musky woodiness in the base. It is very inexpensive. It does smell to an extent inexpensive. The performance is not huge on this one. I would say out of everything here, it's probably the weakest of the bunch. Not that it's super weak, it's a freshie, and it performs like a freshie. It's a fragrance that is interesting in a way because it doesn't smell exactly like any other fresh fragrance out there, but it could remind you of probably 10 different fresh fragrances out there. So it's a kind of an interesting composition. Some people might smell this one and be like, oh, a little Acqua di Gio, a little Versace Pour Homme, a little Versace Man Eau Fraiche, a little Acqua Essenziale, a little bit light blue, like just a bunch of different things, right? But it doesn't smell like any of those. It's in that style, you know? It's a very easygoing, fresh, kind of aquatic, citrusy, fresh, spicy scent. I think it's well done for the price point, great usability during spring and summer, and a nice casual fragrance. So F by Ferragamo Free Time, nobody knows about it really, but it's solid for, 25 bucks. So there we go, 5 fragrances. I think all of these realistically you can find under $30, and they are better than you may believe. And in general, these houses, Davidoff, Joop, Pepe Jeans, and Ferragamo, have some steals in them, not just these. Oftentimes they get marked off pretty heavily. So there we go. Thank you guys for hanging with me. Stay safe out there. I'll see you tomorrow with another fragrance video. Thank you guys so much.